Hey, what's up everybody? This is Chris with Digital Rim, and in this video we're going to cover the 3D sculpting of our character in Blender. In the previous videos we did the import of our reference, our 2D reference. We did the creating the simple starter shapes for our character. Now we're going to get into the fun part, being the sculpting and kind of molding this character into the shapes that we need for the final model. So with that being said, we're just going to hop right into it. Let's go. Alright, so in our previous lesson, we imported the model, or imported the reference art here, as you can see on the left and the right side. So we're using that as a rough reference. Again, they're not perfect because they were drawn on my phone, so they're not perfect. And usually your 2D reference isn't perfect every time, like from the left to the right isn't always perfectly aligned. So it's just a starting point. It gives you a starting point to where you want to, how you want to build this character out. So this is where we kind of landed last time, where we had some of the rough shapes kind of shaped out. And again, we weren't necessarily sculpting. We did more just pulling some of the vertices in different areas. So just try to get the rough shape of this character. So we're going to continue that process, but also with that being said, we're just going to hop right into sculpting. And actually we'll just hop right into sculpting straight out the bat. Let's just do that straight off the bat. So boom. All right, so first thing we're gonna do here is, for one, I want to make sure do I want to save? Let's not save it, but I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna grab all of these elements here. I'm gonna group them, make a collection, base. Yeah, freak it. Let's just roll with it. All right, so first thing we want to do is go ahead. We can get rid of this mirror here for now, at least, because we're going to go into sculpting. So first thing we're going to do is go ahead and apply. Do we want to apply this? Yeah, let's go ahead and apply this subdivision. Apply all, and we're just going to start with the head. We're going to start with the head. So once you apply the subdivision, you will probably notice that, let's try to get you to see it. But you'll notice like the mesh looks like this here. So we're just gonna, and I usually like to see the mesh myself, so I'm gonna just put it on like this. So you can get to that by just clicking object properties here, go down to viewport display, and it'll show you the wireframe. So you're gonna toggle that wireframe on, and now that'll give you a rough what the head looks like. We're gonna keep the head as it is, but at the same time we're just gonna sculpt it just a little more in line with what we drew in the design. So first thing I notice is this neck comes in a lot, a lot more. His neck is skinnier on the reference. So let me grab my pen, and usually I do this with a tablet, but you can do this with your if you want to, you could do it with your mouse, but it's just a lot more work. So I'm gonna do let's say clay strips. Oops. You see, it'll manipulate the actual mesh. Now what you want to do here, because we are limited, before you even do that, I'm Control Z and out of this. Before you even do that, sorry, coming back. But before you even do that, make sure you hit this mirror X, mirror X, Y, Z, but make sure you hit mirror X. And what that's going to do is allow you to, let me see if I can turn this back on, but allow you to, everything this is the X axis, so everything that's on this side will mirror to that side, everything on that side will mirror to the other side. So let's just do a quick example of that real quick to show you how that works. Let me see if I can grab the grab. Boom, grab. And see if I grab, you see I'm grabbing one side, the other side is changing as well. So you don't have to try to duplicate or mimic one side and the other. You can pretty much do the same thing on both sides. So we're going to increase this radius. When I'm going to start doing it, the radius is too big. Alright, that's cool. Boom. Alright. So again, what we want to do is just grab this neck. I need this on though. So what I'll have to do is turn the gizmos off. Because I want this here. So just do that. You just turn it off. I'm going to grab this neck. Get it rough in there. Now you're just getting a feel for what your character looks like. Now at a certain point you could just use them as, you can use your actual character as just more of reference instead of trying to model to the character. And that's essentially where we're at right now. We're just going to use it more as reference. Oops. That's good. That's good. Okay, let's go ahead and move to the next part. Again, I can't overemphasize it. You're just doing this over and over and over again. We're going to do this one time pass, then we're going to go over it again, probably like 4 more times. And that's pretty much how that rolls. That's how that rolls. It's not a quick process. It's definitely a process. You got to be patient. You got to be patient and got to just get through it. Push and pull, push and pull, push and pull. That's all you're doing. All you're doing. That nice round head right there. Boom. That's perfect. See, I was concerned for a second about that head. I was concerned. Yep. Those hips are looking bad. Boy, them hips are looking bad. So essentially with hips, we're gonna need some more detail here. But essentially with hips, if you notice, you want that nice round. If you want to say, think of these like underwear or something, right? But you want from your hip, you want that nice round leg, drumstick. To put it with no pause. You want that nice drumstick. So what we're gonna do is just let's first get into softening some of this up. Now I simply selected the smooth brush. I'm gonna just soften some of this up. Again, unfortunately, think tarantarans, panties, however you want to say it, whatever you want to call it. Think of it as that. Don't be funny about it. It's just what it is. This anatomy. slowly, and surely you'll get there eventually. Boom. And I'm gonna just do that. I'm gonna tuck all of those up in the ear. And I can actually do that for the other one too. I'm gonna do that too. Because what I'm gonna do is, because I want to have more details and I don't want it to be on the end part here, but I want it to have more detail. What I'm gonna end up doing is adding some edge loops. I think that's the best approach to take with this. So how do you add an edge loop? You simply just go into edit mode. You can go down here to edge loops, and we're just gonna add, oops. We're gonna add one right here. We're gonna add one right here. We're gonna leave it like that for now. We're gonna go into this one. We're gonna add an edge loop. We're gonna add one right here, one right there, one right there. Let's add two right there. So now we're gonna go back into sculpt mode. And that should give us a little more to work with as far as details. All right, so there you have it. We pretty much just showed you the process of getting rough sculpting in. We really didn't go into the full-fledged sculpting as of yet. Again, this is how I kind of start my process. I don't necessarily like to just go into full-fledged sculpting, but I like to get a feel for the actual objects and, you know, feel for the if you want to say the scale of things, and then go into sculpting. So get a better feel for, you know, scaling things and coming up with a plan. So then when we go into sculpting, we can sculpt it and add the extra detail. Also, with that being said, hey, we're gonna join this together in the next lesson. So again, we're gonna continue along this process of sculpting out the character. We're gonna start to join some of the elements together. Probably not right now. The next lesson will more than likely be we'll start to model out some of the armor that goes on this character. So again, kind of this rough modeling, quote unquote sculpting, to get to the part where we actually start sculpting. When we start sculpting, that's when you get a lot more memory usage, or a lot more memory is used on your machine, which can slow things down. So that's one of the main reasons I like to do this part first, so you can start to get a feel for your character, how they're built out, and then when you get into the sculpting phase, you can, you know, start to see how much memory you can use, but you won't lose the actual scale or the actual, you know, elements within your character. Also, with that being said, let's say you have a low performing machine. You don't have one of these beefy machines that can sculpt all of this extra detail. Essentially, you can export out, or whatever the case may be, but export out a specific part of the model and actually add those details in and get a better feel for the model. So you can do it that way as well. So then when you go back into remesh, again, it can go in so many different ways, but I'm try to just keep it as simple as possible right now. Just using these basic shapes to get a feel for the character, sculpt out the character, get that basic shape with the basic shapes of the actual model, which I want to say is less than, probably right now, less than 100,000 tries, 100,000 polys. I have to look on my thing, but like less than 100,000. So very, very light model. Again, this is something that, again, you can use in gaming or something like that. Not necessarily at this stage, but again, what we're doing is showing you how to create a character so you can use the least amount of performance on your machine, because again, having a versatile character like this will allow you to do so many different things. So with that being said, I hope you found value in this video. I hope you found value in this lesson. I hope this was something that was super beneficial to where you're trying to get to in your 3D character creation career, or, you know, just learning how to do Blender in general, create a mascot for your brand, whatever the case may be. I hope this was helpful to you. I will see you all in the next lesson, where we continue the process of modeling this character out, adding that armor, the same kind of technique, but just adding the armor. Now we're going to get into the armor, some of the small details, probably refine the character just a little bit more. But once we add the armor, once we have the character, then we're going to go into the full-fledged sculpting as far as joining all of the elements together, because now we have everything kind of roughly modeled out. We're going to start to join elements together and really get into the sculpting of making it look even better than it is now. So that being said, I hope to see you all in that next lesson. I know I'll see you all in the next lesson. So when I see you all in the next lesson, go ahead and click the button. I'm going to see you all in the next, I keep saying that. I'm going to see you all in the next lesson. So go ahead and click the button. This has been a long session. You could tell I'm kind of tired. But that being said, I will see you all in the next lesson. Let's go. Later, y'all. Peace. Oh, yeah. Do that one thing that takes you closer to your goals, like I always say. Do that one thing that takes you closer to your goals. Oh, y'all have a blessed day. Later, y'all. Peace.